They should start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
I'm Pat Riley.
Joe Raines here.
Joe Raines back on mic number 3, and today we are talking all about tribute albums with our returning guest, back again for the first time since the ska episode, our friend.
Hi, I'm John Michael Bond.
John Michael Bond is here. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. I think I might have intuited that you might be the man for this particular topic.
I got here and you were like, "Oh, we're doing an entire episode about covers albums or tribute albums." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you asshole! You couldn't give me any time to prepare." And then I immediately was able to cite the specific tribute album an Adam Sandler cover was from. So yeah, no, I have a supernatural ability. I'm every cliche you've ever imagined.
Yeah, well, with this one, I figured my thinking behind it is there's enough famous bands on here that if nothing else, it can just be a reaction to those.
100%.
But then also, you're a big music guy, and we've got many decades of popular music here to cover with a lot of these songs and these bands.
Also, the bubbly sparkling water, real strong flavor.
Jerry, right?
Yeah, it's really
brand-
bold.
It's
You don't
delicious.
usually get
It's
that from
delectable.
Sparkling water.
If somebody's got to hook up with the Pepsi company, hit me up because I'd love to talk about bubbly regularly and be paid for it. Oh yeah.
Oh man, y'all
We've
think we
hit the
set that
lowest.
up.
We've hit the lowest point of this podcast. Right there.
Are you kidding me? That was a beautiful, spontaneously cut ad. No one cut in was like, you know what I'm wearing today? MeUndies. Like none of that.
Right. No, just straight into bubbly cherry flavored water. So I got a hold for this episode of doing the most research possible, of course, going to Wikipedia. And Wikipedia has this giant list of tribute albums. And they're broken up by band, which is really interesting. So you can just scroll and see how many different, tribute albums are for each band. And I was really trying to figure out, the first tribute album, like where did this start? Because obviously, I guess you can say with like classical music, everything's a tribute album because those original versions weren't recorded by Beethoven, so everything the London Symphony does is a tribute album if you think about it.
Yeah, I think it started with standards collections to a certain degree.
Yes, like the Great American Songbook,
Yeah,
things like that,
it's
which are still done today. By the way, they're always those are always very interesting.
Yeah.
Where
The Rod Stewart sings the Great American Songbook.
Yep.
We're like 10 years away from the first American songbook that's all Southern hip hop.
Yeah. Yeah, Rod Stewart sings 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah. Ted Danson finally expresses his truth. It's going to be amazing.
But there's
Corn on the cob.
Fucking Lemmy from Motorhead. I don't know if he was hard up for money or he just loves music. It could be either one.
Yeah.
But like in the 90s, recorded all of these one-off cover songs for these weird like tributes and things. So if you go on Spotify, you can find just like Lemmy doing Beatles covers.
Yeah,
And, like, but he's still singing like this.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Strawberry fields forever.
Oh, and we're gonna get into that, but it's fun you mentioned the Beatles because unsurprisingly, the Beatles have the most tribute albums of any band that I could find.
The crime.
And I was trying to narrow down which ones to talk about, and I know there's one that Pat is especially itching to talk about that we're gonna get into in just a second.
It's the worst.
Well, this band is actually on the I Am Sam soundtrack, and the I Am Sam soundtrack is
Is this Wheatus?
no. This is Laybach, and the the I Am Sam soundtrack is so egregious that something like this actually goes unnoticed on it. But Laybach is a Slovenian avant-garde music group associated with industrial, neoclassical, and something called martial genres. So I guess that's just fighting music.
Wait, Slovenian avant-garde?
Yes, Slovenian avant-garde. And so this is their version of the Beatles song off of the album Let It Be. This is Get Back.
This is from the I Am Sam soundtrack?
Well, this band is on the I Am Sam soundtrack.
Okay, not this song.
They they got on there with one of their songs where they did an entire cover version of the album Let It Be. And then they took one of the songs from this and put it on the I Am Sam soundtrack.
So there's a Beatles cover from this band.
Yes, I believe it's Across the Universe on the I Am Sam soundtrack, but this is truly insane. And I just needed everyone to hear it.
I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable riffing about why this is appropriate on the I Am Sam soundtrack.
It's like if Lenin's army was, marching to take over the Duma. This is what they listened to.
It's like finding out the guy from. It's like finding out the guy from Rain Man only listens to Throbbing Gristle.
It feels like it's touching me and not in a good way. Like I need to be showered.
I actually really like this.
You like it?
I'm editing photos for most of the rest of the day. I'm going to be listening to this. Layback. Oh man, this is one of those bands that, like, if I wore a shirt of it, I'd be afraid people thought it was like a nationalist group.
Yeah. But no, Billy Preston, this is not, for sure.
Billy Preston, a white nationalist?
No, he's the fifth Beatle. He's black and has a huge afro and was the only reason that John Lennon and Paul McCartney didn't strangle each other during this album.
I thought you meant actor Billy Preston.
No. I'm talking Will It Go Round in Circles.
I didn't know there was a black Beatle.
Oh, yeah. He was, they brought him in. He's the guy playing organ on Get Back.
Interesting.
And on Don't Let Me Down and a bunch of the other songs. And literally, like, he was in the studio with them during the recording of Let It Be.
Yeah.
And John and Paul were going to kill each other. And John has been quoted in interviews, and I think Paul had too. It's like, the only reason we didn't kill each other is because we thought this guy was really cool and we didn't want to look like dicks.
Because Billy Preston is objectively one of the coolest looking people ever. He's just a giant afro and tons of fringe.
Yeah.
Everything he wore had fringe on it, which was a nice touch.
It makes me want to listen to the Beatles again. I have a massive amount of musical knowledge, and my big blind spot is I hate everything the Beatles did after they discovered drugs.
Wow.
I like old, like,
I like the poppy stuff.
I'm the quintessential I like the early stuff guy.
Wow, okay.
I like Beatles songs when they were like tight and under 3 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
I like their like almost power pop stuff. I think it's just I didn't have the attention span for any song over 5 minutes until I was 30 years old.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I know Pat has been itching to talk about this forever. I think we've made reference to this many times on the show, but here we go.
For almost 200 episodes.
For almost 200 episodes, Pat has hated this album.
Which album? Longer.
The I Am Sam soundtrack.
Oh my God.
When did you first get exposed to the I Am Sam soundtrack, and how the fuck did you get exposed to the I Am Sam soundtrack?
Okay, so
Did you not? This was everywhere.
Was I Am Sam
it was the movie anyway?
No,
This was bigger than the movie.
The soundtrack to I Am Sam?
This was bigger than the movie, and
This is the dumbest thing I've missed because I was in punk rock.
So the thing was that because in the movie, Sean Penn's titular character Sam
It was
works.
a big movie. Why are we acting like it wasn't a big
I saw the
movie?
I've never seen the movie.
Yeah, it was a somewhat big movie, but because he worked in a Starbucks decided to sell this album, promote the hell out of it, and then play it on the reg through all their stores. So there wasn't a Starbucks in my hometown, but that's how it kind of diffused widely. What I had heard was, I think I was 18 or something like that, and there was a girl who I was talking to who had brought up how much she loved the I Am Sam soundtrack. So I figured this would be a great
How does that
opportunity.
even come up?
I feel like I'm being punked.
Okay, so I figured it'd be like, okay, great, I can listen to it and we can have a point of discussion to, build our relationship between the two of us.
Yeah, of course.
So I bought it. I looked at it and I was like, oh, sweet, Amy Mann is on it. Oh, sweet, Paul Westerberg's on it. I love the replacement. So I figured that this could be something that isn't too bad, right? So I bought it. I took it home. I put it in my CD player, and it is one of the most frustrating things you'll ever listen to, because not only is it the Beatles, but it's also the Beatles done by some objectively great artists.
And the Vines.
But it's done in the most middle of the road way. It's like the most bland album.
I think that's what you'll find with. This will be a recurring theme with this tribute album episode.
Oh my fucking God.
Oh, Eddie Vedder's version of Hydra Love Away is just like, he's just half-assed, and he's just like, hey, you got to hide your love away.
Okay, so
and it's all the backing stuff has been played on a Casio keyboard. It sounds like it's like they're not even trying.
I just looked at the track listing of this, and the artists on it, because I did not realize the I Am Sam soundtrack is a tribute to the Beatles.
Yeah.
First off, Nick Cave's version of Let It Be is incredible.
He actually makes a couple of appearances.
Yeah, Nick Cave is the shit. But also, Howie Day is on this.
I don't even remember who that is.
Howie Day is basically if VH1 was
Is he related
a
to Morris
real
Day?
musician, like if they distilled VH1 into one individual, it was Howie Day.
If 90s VH1 made a Bruno Mars.
Or 2000s VH1. If you put Keen and Coldplay in a blender and squeeze.
Fuck you, Keen is special and unique. You never speak of them. Never speak of them in the same breath as Coldplay. Fuck that band.
But they were always played. Them and Daniel Powder. They were always played at the same time on
Unbearable.
and Vanessa Hudgens and
Five for
Carlton
Fighting.
and-
Oh, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, there was like a whole genre that I call Iraq War music, where it was just right around 2003, all the music they were playing on VH1. But before we get too far away from it, because this is anything with Eddie Vedder is going to be the funniest thing on the soundtrack. This is Eddie Vedder with "You've Got to Hide Your Love Away."
I like this version.
I don't mind this. It doesn't bother me at all.
No, okay.
It has like a kind of old Americana vibe to it.
Yeah,
that I
I'm at an old bar in the country and he's doing the corners jamming.
He sounds like Adam Sandler's impersonation of Eddie Vedder on this song.
Now, when he gets to the haze, he does it like Little John. I would be furious. But
Wait.
What?
close, very close.
There we go. But
It's so bland. Oh my god. It's one of those things where you get it. Like Paul Westerberg, his version of Nowhere Man is kind of rotten.
yeah.
And it's Paul
That's not a good
Westerberg.
era of Paul Westerberg.
Yeah, I know, and it's Paul Westerberg, who I think is he's like one of my favorite songwriters. One of my favorite bands of all time. And I was like, all right, some Paul Westerberg, and then I listened to it, and I was just for 30 seconds, I was kind of like, yeah, okay.
Unsatisfied, it's not.
And then it's just that thing on Beavis and Butthead where they get to their faces while they're watching a music video, and their faces just drop into frowns, and they're like, this sucks, like that sort of like response.
But yeah, like I mentioned, the Beatles by far have the most. They actually have the distinction of, at least according to this list, like outside of like American Songbook and those kind of things, what I could find, the two earliest like tribute albums were Booker T and the MGs doing a record called Macklemore Avenue, which is
I'm sorry, what?
Macklemore Avenue, which
But that's
is
a covers album.
It's a covers album.
Booker
Yeah,
T
exactly.
and the MGs are doing Macklemore?
No, Macklemore.
This is the first one.
It's a road in Memphis.
Oh, okay.
Instead of Abbey Road, it's Macklemore Avenue because that's where Stax Records is. And then the other one is The Other Side of Abbey Road by George Benson, and both of those are 1970s.
Well, you didn't give credit to the Chipmunks singing the Beatles.
Yeah, the Beatles have the Chipmunks singing them too. It's very bizarre, but
There's a distinction, right, for a tribute album and a covers album, right? The covers album, I always think of it as either like a Me First and the Gimme Gimme sort of thing, where it's like one band doing covers of a bunch of different bands, or if the one band decides to do covers uniformly of one artist. When I think of a tribute album, I think of like a compilation.
Yeah, I think the standard is there's a band and then a bunch of bands do songs.
Their songs.
So it would be like We Will Rock You, a tribute to Queen, and then you would have a bunch of random ass bands thrown together doing Queen songs. And that's what a tribute album is, essentially.
Or it would be from 1994, If I Was a Carpenter. And it's some songs of the Carpenters.
Oh, yes, this one.
Notably featuring a band that we've really not talked about too much. That is Sonic Youth. The fun thing about the Sonic Youth cover of this song is it's very fun to listen to a band almost give a shit.
Welcome to the Weather Channel. This is Weather on the 8s.
I fell in love with you.
mean, it just really makes you want to listen to the original, though. It's the only thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that's interesting about every cover of this song I've ever heard. Everyone tries to make it sound sinister, and you are never, ever going to make a song sound more sinister than the original cover of Superstar.
Oh, like the Carpenters version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the darkest
Yeah.
feeling.
Oh,
Like,
wait,
it
here's the
sounds like a
chorus.
witch. Wasn't this used in the Scream soundtrack?
Probably so.
Yeah, I remember it being used somewhere else as
Yeah,
well.
I think this was used in like a Scream trailer.
Oh, is that right?
Or like Scream 2 or something.
Yeah.
It was like the stalker coming out. Because this song 100% sounds like a man in a closet with a knife being like, I'm going to be your husband someday.
Yeah.
Like, it is
that's
terrifying.
I think that's kind of, that's what it's about, I think.
It is the scariest song. Have you ever seen Superstar, the Carpenters tribute animated
No.
movie? Someone made this like 20-minute thing. It's the life story of Karen Carpenter told using Barbie dolls, and it
That's
is
creepy as
Oh
fuck.
my
as
God.
creepy as it sounds.
Yeah.
And it's like 20-25 minutes long.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's...
No, I have not and will not be watching that.
Anyway, people are like, will you let your kids on YouTube? That's why I will not. I liked tribute albums a lot when I was a kid. Like, you could find them real cheap at the used CD store in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
like the Zeppelin tribute album.
Yeah, or
that
like-
was a good one.
There was a great like Black Sabbath one that had a bunch of new metal bands on it.
Oh, yeah.
I played you Throwdown's cover of Baby Got Back earlier.
Yeah, we gotta get to
From
that in a
the
second.
Too Legit to Pit hardcore punk rap covers album, which is awful.
One of the kind of recurring motifs of all these, by the way, that I kept noticing is that the tribute album really had two heydays. And those would be like the early to mid 90s, and then again in like the early to mid 2000s. There seems to just be a giant spike, and both of them have this in common where they've got these bands that were kind of underground popular at the time.
Yeah.
So like the Carpenters one, for instance, you guys just heard the Sonic Youth. It's also got
Shonen Knife.
Dishwalla.
Wait, no. Dishwalla is like a one-hit wonder band. I don't think anybody in the underground was like, hey, there's this band called Dishwalla.
No,
They have
people still murmur about their first 7-inch.
the split between Duncan Sheik and Dishwalla.
It was back when their power violence days.
I am barely breathing. I am on my way to see her.
Niche humor.
Yeah. But yeah, Cracker, Matthew Sweet, Grantley Buffalo.
Cracker is on a lot of tribute
Yeah, and
albums.
so is
it
Sheryl
weird.
Crow.
Cracker
Sheryl
does
Crow
not-
does a lot of them.
Cracker doesn't turn down a fucking check, and I respect that about them. They were like, this is a camper von Beethoven, all right? We're not...
Yeah, and Sheryl Crow's on a lot of these too.
Yeah.
like she would just like, yeah, totally. I'll do I Am Sam. I'll do the Carpenters. I'll do whatever.
Yeah. Sheryl Crow spent a lot of time not being on the road. Damn you, Sheryl Crow. I'm just slandering her for no reason.
Yeah, so 2011, ZZ Top put out a record called ZZ Top, a tribute from Friends. And so these are supposedly ZZ Top's best friends playing all of their tunes. And
Billy Gibbons would
Billy
never
Gibbons
hang
is-
out with Filter.
Filter is not ZZ Top's best friend.
Not even Frank Beard would hang out with them.
So this is very butt rock heavy, but this is Filter with
no.
Give Me All Your Lovin'. Kind of got an industrial sort of
You're my obsession. I cannot speak.
A lot of butt rock does sound like ZZ Top in retrospect. Like,
fits right in there. Fits like a glove.
You switch out the cowbell for the industrial beat.
Yeah.
Isn't Filter the I Had a Bad Day Again band?
What?
Hey man, nice shot. Yeah.
This is really bad.
What the fuck is this?
I have no idea.
Not good is what it is.
You know what I want to hear? Give me Orgy's cover of Blue Monday over this any day of the week.
This is like ZZ Top, especially the Eliminator era ZZ Top. This is music that should be played during a Memphis Wrestling 1980s music video,
Yeah.
where it's a couple of good-looking baby faces strutting around a pool and in a gym in Speedos. You can't do that to this Filter cover. This has ruined the spirit of Eliminator era ZZ Top.
If
This
you-
is an affront.
If you played this while two men who were baby oiled got into a ring, it would
Yeah.
sound misogynistic. Okay, like it's gross.
Yeah.
To go to
the
Pat's point,
Fantastics cannot strut around and jump into a pool to
Yeah,
this.
it would be
I
demeaning.
could see this
Yeah.
on a Raw though, a 2000.
Oh, yeah,
Raw.
yeah.
Well,
God.
I'm
a
gonna
title
hear-
match between three people who are all dead.
This is ruthless aggression.
We got to hear one other one from this one, and I know we've really been dunking on Nickelback a lot lately, but boy, this really earned it.
I'm a Nickelback apologist, and fuck this song.
This is Nickelback with Legs.
God damn it! You have to get to his voice. Yep.
Yeah.
I will say this: I do like that the dude from Nickelback always sounds like he's singing to save the planet. Like he's never pulling back. He's always just like. "Ah!"
Somebody has his daughter.
If I don't sing "Photograph" one more time with my heart out, they're gonna shoot that little
He's singing
girl.
what's that one where he's like pants around your feet and he's
Oh,
like
yeah.
crying?
Oh yeah.
I like your parents. Right. Yeah, I'm still.
That's- oh,
we
good
played that
God.
on the show 3 weeks ago, and I'm still getting tweets of just people being like, "Fuck you." That song's in my head now.
I forgot how like gross and misogynistic that song is.
Oh, it's the worst.
Well, to your point about ZZ Top, fits like a glove, man.
Yeah.
A lot of this Eliminator era stuff is,
Okay, but ZZ Top gets. This is gonna be not popular. ZZ Top gets away with being creepy because they look like they would be saying that.
yeah. Oh, for
You know,
sure.
like
yeah.
Like if there were two guys with those beards at a bar, just being
spinning
like,
their guitars on their belt
Yeah.
buckles.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, like their whole gimmick was that their guitars are attached to their dick to a degree that
Right.
can spin them.
Yeah.
Like versus like every member of Nickelback who looks like a youth pastor gone bad.
But yeah, that is.
Is Mastodon's cover of "Just Got Paid" on this?
Oh, if it
'Cause
isn't,
that-
it should be. That's fucking rocks.
Yeah, that song actually rules.
I feel like what's great about that cover is it shows they actually listen to ZZ Top, but then they do their own thing with it, which I appreciate. That's why I like a bad tribute album as long as everyone is fucking up the song earnestly.
right.
yeah.
Right.
I'm not happy that Say Anything covered Baby I Got Your Money,
Yeah.
but I respect how they did it.
I've never heard this before. This is sweet. Hell yeah. I mean, you're not gonna find me saying much against Mastodon ever because A, I love them,
Yeah.
and B, I'm pretty sure the guy with the face tattoos has a knife.
He does. He's a really nice guy, though. Like, everyone in Mastodon is the nicest person.
Is that right? Have you met these guys?
Oh yeah, they hang out in Atlanta all the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's the guy who runs Star Bar, Rodney, is friends with
Wolf Mother? Wolf Mother is on this?
yeah. Oh yeah. It's 202011, man. Yeah.
Oh,
Try
man.
that one. I want to see how terrible it is.
Which one is it?
Cheap sunglasses.
Oh, ew.
Yeah. Man, Wolf Mother. It's so weird that there was like a made up 70s rock band.
Oh, there's a new one called Greta Von Fleet.
At least Wolf Mother has like original songs. Greta Von Fleet is just like, hey, we're gonna change the words, but it's still Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I actually really dig this.
Yeah.
Turning it into kind of like a mod shit thing. Like, this almost sounds like the Velvet Underground.
A little bit. Right?
Like,
Get yourself some cheap sunglasses.
No, that's where it turns sour.
and then they were like,
Every one of
we
them.
had to ruin it.
Every
with our
one of them
voice.
has to do something
I know.
stupid like that.
They just know we have this guy with this really high falsetto voice that sings. We have to take
man.
advantage of it.
So in 2004, moving on from ZZ Top because I feel like we could just shit on this forever.
Ever.
In 2004, there was a Warren Zevon tribute record called "Enjoy Every Sandwich," and it featured, amongst other people, you got some, you got your Don Henley, you got your Bob Dylan on there, your Jackson Brown, Bonnie Raitt, some heavy hitters.
Bonnie Raitt's is criminally underrated.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love Bonnie Raitt, but this is not
Who doesn't
criminally
like
underrated.
Bonnie Raitt? Who, like, where?
I think it was because of the fact that
I guess
something to talk
I
about
was
was
gonna
played
say-
all the time.
It's
for
still a
period of
legit
time,
great song, though. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good one.
that
Bonnie-
people soured on it. I
A
think
lot of people won't even listen to Bonnie Raitt because they're like, that's like something my mom would listen to. And it's like, yeah, if your mom's feeling real shit,
Yeah.
like listen to Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah, and she's a killer guitar player.
She's
Really
so good.
underrated guitar player.
I saw her open for Lyle Lovett and like
Ooh.
the
Wait,
Bla-
why was she opening for? That should be the other way
Yeah,
around.
I mean,
reverse
like-
that.
it's I agree. But,
Yeah.
But like he was playing with his large band and they still were like, oh yeah, we got to really turn it up to
Yeah.
follow Bonnie Raitt. She
Dear
fucking
Lord.
ruled.
So Bonnie Raitt rules, but this does not. This is the song "The Wind," which is one of Zevon's
no.
last songs.
No,
by
no.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Christ.
I'm against this.
Billy Bob Thornton has a band famously called the Boxmasters. The Boxmasters wouldn't even be on this piece of shit.
Oh no.
The wind is
I think my favorite part of this is that the video, you can't see it, but the video we're watching on YouTube of it just cut in a picture from Billy Bob Thornton and the astronaut farmer.
Yeah.
So it's just Billy Bob Thornton in a spacesuit fucking up a Warren Zevon song.
Is Billy Bob taking a shit? while
I
he sings
love this song and I'm mad at him.
No, right?
And I respect Billy Bob Thornton as a musician, not something that people should say, but like not his music, but his stance on his music. So like when he goes on tour and like does interviews and shit, people will ask him questions about movies, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm here to talk
Oh,
about
that's
the music."
my favorite. Would you fucking ask Tom Petty that?
Yeah, no, he like straight up will be like, "Would you do that to Tom Petty?"
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things ever. The guy's like,
He's like, "I'm an artist."
Oh, that was good.
Pat's still recovering.
Oh
from
man,
this.
that was awful.
Oh boy.
Because it's the thing about it is that this album has one of my favorite thing about a lot of tribute albums, that they get a collection of really great artists. Like you see them, it's like, all right, Steve Earle is on it, and Bob Dylan, and Bonnie Raitt, and
Yeah.
all these folks like that. But they always have to throw in a couple of curveballs.
Whoa,
like
there's-
some real curveballs. Like we'll get Billy Bob Thornton in there.
Oh, Billy Bob's not even the biggest.
I know, and I
curveball.
was about to say, that there's another one in the mix, but there's always like
even besides-
on that one, like Pete Yorn.
There's the Pixies.
Pete Yorn is on every tribute album of that era.
It's because he's available.
yeah, exactly.
He's not doing
Pete
anything.
Yorn just sat in the cafeteria at Columbia for like 10 years, and people were like, "Hey, we need someone to cover ABBA," and he's like, "I have a guitar."
Yeah.
Pete Yorn is the old Gil of early 2000s indie rock.
But the Billy Bob Thornton is not the weirdest thing, believe it or not, on this collection. The weirdest one, and we referenced this earlier, the weirdest one is Adam Sandler doing Werewolves of London, and it is
I like it.
it is exactly what you think it would be. Like, to the point where it's kind of upsetting at how it's someone doing an Adam Sandler impression. It's weird.
If this was on like Saturday Night Live right now, people would be like, "Oh my god, check out this cover."
I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand. Walking through
I like
the
this
streets of Soho in the
homemade
rain.
music video for it with just like a lot of wolves walking around.
I mean, if Adam Sandler was a werewolf, he would look like these chill ass wolves.
Chilling out at Yellowstone, yeah.
Oh, and it's funny because
He's the only man who still howls. Like, no.
well, the thing that's great is when I saw that it was him doing the song, that is Adam Sandler's signature noise. Oh, like that's his thing. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
kind of
man.
a perfect song.
The thing that fills me with joy about this tribute and every tribute is when you hear how bad some of the ones that made it are.
Yeah.
You have to imagine the 10 or 15 songs that they were like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
You know?
yeah. Someone.
Just like Macy Gray did like a real intense Desperados Under the Eaves, and they were like, "Get out of here."
That's right. Oh my god. Yeah, Macy Gray is.
I would love to hear Macy Gray cover Warren Zevon.
Oh Jesus. But yeah, that's from 2004.
She's clean, she's healthy, her new songs are great. Listen to Macy Gray.
Yeah, or Filter doing a version of Excitable Boy, and they're trying to get.
I'm went down to
dinner, ready Sunday best. Oh man, for me, like a lot of these started. There were like a lot of like punk cover albums.
Yeah, of course.
Like honestly, like one of the first even like punk CDs I bought on my own was a Me First and the Gimme Gimmes
Yeah. Oh,
album. But like there was this terrible period. Would you on Spotify look up Punk Goes Crunk?
Oh God, I know. Yep.
Yes.
Actually, can I play one good one first?
Oh yeah.
Further Seems Forever, which that name is all of the things you need to know about that band. Bye Bye Bye. So like in the early 2000s when like pop punk turned into radio music, this is the only band that did a cover where it made sense with who their vocalist was to do it, and they actually do a good cover of
NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye.
Yeah, they just turned it into like a rock. And it's like they're talented musicians. You're like, this is, but their singer is like a crooner. A second.
He just sounds like he could be in a boy band.
Yeah, it's this weird era where they were like, "Oh, we're all punk bands," and then they do this shit, and you're like, "No, man, it just sounds like you guys should be on major labels doing this."
Right. This just sounds like NSYNC with like guitars.
Yeah. It's like it's not offensive. It's fine. Go to Punk Goes Crunk now.
Yeah, okay.
'Cause this is where the war crimes start. This is legitimately top to bottom one of the worst albums
I'm so excited.
ever made.
I'm so excited.
Literally anywhere you want to start is.
These aren't even crunk songs.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh no, there's one crunk song. Newfound Glory covering Tennessee by Arrested Development.
That's not crunk at all. What are you talking about?
Oh, let's see. Go to I Got Your Money.
Oh, you know what? No. Scratch that. This is the one that I know. It's The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh yeah,
their version of Still
Stay
Fly.
Fly.
Yeah. Because I remember. Shout out to my friend Josh Sorjan. Had this in the back of. He had a Honda Accord that had a giant subwoofer, and he usually listened to rap, but this was the only rock song he liked, and it was just a cover of a rap song. So I remember riding around in the Accord with the shaking with the damn subwoofers,
and the vocals kick in.
The vocals are incredible.
Did they record this in a bathroom?
Oh man, I love this.
This is one of the things that made me stop working for zines. Like I wrote about music for like a decade, and I was like, I can't do it anymore.
There it is.
Why? What's happening? Why is this?
Boy,
a
I
thing?
love that so much. What? Yeah. But what's your? What was the one that you were gonna say on here?
I mean, honest to God, that's one of the best ones.
That will clear a room like a bad fart. Man.
I was gonna say, "California Love" by My American Heart.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
This is the best argument against white supremacy. This is. Oh God.
Wait, Men in Black is on here? This is not okay.
I do so much introduction for this. This was distributed by a major label.
Wow. Wow, man.
This is
it's bad enough that Broken
Notorious
Side
Thugs.
exists, that they have to make more things that sound like Broken Side.
Oh, good God. It wasn't enough that these bands. Oh, Christ.
This is Scary Kids Scaring Kids, Notorious Thugs.
Nope. Nope.
This is the angriest I've seen you, Joe.
All of these have an unnecessarily long lead up. It's like, just get to the thing.
They all thought they were going to be the first track on the CD.
It's like, yeah, we know what you're going to do. Just do it.
Let's ride, let's ride, let's ride. And get high, get high, and get high. Let's ride, let's ride.
We got some drum machine going.
It sounds like the movie montage to a shitty 80s movie, like where they've stolen mom's car and they're on their way to the party, and it's like, hope the cops don't get us so we get put in juvie. Oh no! Or like he's being taught karate.
Bang with us. Straight up weed, no angel dust. Label us notorious.
This is the worst thing I've ever heard. This whole album is crime against humanity. You're right, John Michael. This is crime against humanity.
It's so bad.
This is awful.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It's terrible.
Oh man.
And like the covers used to be good. Like that Throwdown cover is obnoxious, but it's at least fun. Like you put it on the car at like 2 a.m. when you're falling asleep on a drive home, it'll get you hyped. But like,
Yeah.
good.
I kind of like the Still Fly. Maybe it's you know.
No, that was
It's
awful.
It's if they had a guy who could sing on it, I'd be fine. But that like, we stay fly like that. I can't even falsetto that shit.
Yeah. So this one is I guess this would be a covers record rather than a tribute record.
If this is what I think it is a covers album.
It's a covers album rather than a tribute album, but it's something that we failed to touch on in our celebrity albums episode we did, and it is Scarlett Johansson's debut
Fuck her. No.
No.
of Tom Waits covers.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
The piano's been like drinking.
And
Can't find your waitress with a Geiger counter.
but yeah, this is her version of I Don't Want to Grow Up.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and they all have this like weird like kind of pseudo trip hop bullshit.
Have you ever wanted to listen to Lana Del Rey underwater?
Boy, if we got the album for you, it's Anywhere I Lay My Head by Scarlett Johansson.
Have you ever wanted to hear Alice Glasper without anything cool
I just
involved?
I don't resent stars that want to be like musical performers. I just resent them for charging money for it.
Right.
You're rich. Put it on Bandcamp. Yeah, like Michael Cera at least put it on Bandcamp. Like he had a weird solo album of like covers and like sweet songs.
Oh
and
my
things.
god.
I mean, but she's in one fell swoop, just destroying both a Tom Waits and a Ramones song, which both of them are amazing. But it's just like you listen to this, it's just like what is this?
I think
In the music video for this song, Tom Waits is dressed like the devil and he's riding a kid's bike around a bunch of turds.
Yeah. I'm sort of enamored by the idea of someone hearing a Tom Waits song and just hearing a creaky old man be like, I'm in the bathtub full of glass. And then being like, what this needs to be is a Bad Cure song.
Yeah. It needs to be a dream pop.
Yeah.
From the star of Lost in Translation. It's what everybody was asking for.
I want to hear a guy that sounds like Unfiltered Cigarettes talking about busting off the chifforobe. Like, that's what I want to hear.
So they have this series, and we can kind of go dealer's choice on this one because there's a lot of them.
No, not picking on.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah, these are really bad.
these are bluegrass covers records. They have an entire series of these that they started doing in 1993.
Yeah.
This list is by far the longest list of anything. So I will just I'll just read this as quickly as I can. These are all of the people who have Pickin' On bluegrass covers records. Three Doors Down, AC/DC, Aerosmith, Wings.
Can we go to Three Doors Down? I'm sorry for not
Because
getting any into that list.
No,
but
that's what I wanted. Yeah, so let's see.
I don't even want to hear Wings. I straight up only want to hear the
Three
worst.
Doors Down.
Yeah.
So this is Here Without You.
It's not even one of their best songs. If they have a real singer,
100 days have made me older since the last time
they
that
just
I saw
fixed
you.
Three Doors Down.
Right? They usually do have good singers. There's one band that's always on this called Iron Horse that are based out of Birmingham, and they fucking rule, actually.
Dude, every butt rock band is just a country band that should be honest about what they'd be good at.
Yeah.
Like,
Although,
like if Shinedown was a country band, I would be like, yeah, no, this makes sense. Go for it.
I will say that hypothesis, which I somewhat ascribe to, was recently put to the test because I heard Aaron Lewis's country album, the guy from Stained.
Yeah.
And it still just sounds like Stained.
I like the That Ain't Country song he did.
Yeah. So just to finish off, this is just some of the list. Let's see: Allman Brothers, All American Rejects,
Boo.
I've heard that one. That one's really good.
Avett Brothers, Beach
How are
Boys.
you doing a bluegrass cover of a bluegrass band?
I have no idea. Beatles, Beck, Black Crowes, Black Keys,
I guess you do it quickly, Joe.
Black,
Just cover it.
Black Label Society.
Why? Who knows a single Black Label Society song?
The Undertaker.
Podcast is over. Good night, everybody.
Blues Traveler, Bob Dylan, Bob Marley, Bon Jovi, Boston, Brad Paisley, Brooks and Dunn, Bruce Springsteen, The Byrds, Clint Black, again,
A lot of these, yeah.
Creed, Coldplay, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Def Leppard, Dolly
that
Parton.
Doobies Brothers one would be hilarious.
All right, let's.
Does it still have Michael McDonald singing?
Yeah, he's still there.
You don't know me.
This is a good old Michael McDonald era Doobie Brothers song done bluegrass style. This is Minute by Minute, one of my favorites.
Yes.
Let's see how it sounds.
I'm about it. Oh, please sing.
I'm gonna read the rest of the list while this is going on. George Strait, Grateful Dead, Jack Johnson, Jack White, Johnny Cash, John Mayer. Picking on John Mayer sounds weird. This is what they put in instead of a keyboard. That's kind of genius, actually. I love that.
Should go over a time lapse of somebody building a barn.
Well, time moves a little slower here in AutoZone country. In my day, oil changes came with the tire change.
This is what they play at the marina in West Virginia.
Yeah. You know, this lake used to be a mountain. Oh, it's just instrumental. Okay.
Oh, that's bullshit.
I was hoping
because there are some.
I mean, the Van Halen jump done by the.
That's what I'm building up
but
to
then
that.
again, they have Linkin Park as well, which is
yeah.
pretty,
Leonard
pretty
Skinner, Modest Mouse, which I've heard that one before.
Put that Modest Mouse one up. I gotta hear that.
We'll get
Picking on Modest Mouse is good.
Yeah. Let's see. Gone Fishing, tribute to Fish.
I would like to hear the bluegrass version of Shit Luck by. Modest Mouse.
Randy Travis, Rascal Flatts, Reba McEntire, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Boat is obviously sinking.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, REM, Reliant K, huh? There's one for you, John
would
Michael.
genuinely love that.
Rolling Stones, Santana, Shania Twain, Sheryl Crow, The Shins, String Cheese Incident, Strokes, Taylor Swift. String Cheese Incident is a fucking bluegrass
they have
band.
two U2 picking on.
Oh yeah. Picking on U2, Vince Gill, White Stripes, Who, Widespread Panic, Wilco, Willie Nelson, ZZ Top.
And the most recent one, go to your local Cracker Barrel and picking on Nirvana.
Yeah, picking on Nirvana.
What does that sound like?
Let's see.
Yeah, I wonder if they have Scentless Apprentice or something like that. I hope it's all Albini tracks.
Oh, this is Iron Horse. This is the, these guys are from Birmingham. They do Fade to Bluegrass, the Metallica tribute.
Wonder if they ever play at the bar Iron Horse in Birmingham.
I wonder if someone covers Whiskey in a Jar on that.
Yeah, I bet.
I need an easy friend with an ear to lend. Think you fit the shoe.
At least they did something different.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
I'll take advantage while
I will say this band, Iron Horse. My favorite thing they've done is actually this one right here, which is the Metallica their version of Ride the Lightning. It's fucking awesome.
I think something that other cover, that like About a Girl cover does really well is bluegrass works as a cover medium because it's so joyful that when you put a mournful song to it,
right,
it almost becomes darker.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's that old fucking Steve Martin bit about or if you get laid off, they just give you a banjo. You can't be sad playing a banjo. I like hearing someone shred a banjo.
Hell yeah! I used to listen to this. This was like this was in my permanent playlist in high school, man. I forgot somebody just bought this on like for a joke on at Hastings one time, and then we listened to it. We're like, oh, this actually kind of kicks ass. And then we found out these dudes are from Birmingham, so.
Guilty is charged, but you know it ain't right. There's someone else controlling me. Death in the air, strapped in the electric chair. This can't be happening to me. Who made you God to say, I take your life from you?
I don't really care for this.
You don't care for it?
Yeah, but
I like the other one better.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah, the Nirvana
I like this
one was
part.
better, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care for the bluegrass
No.
thing, but it's like, it's not a thing where
Yeah.
The group vocals I like a lot. The individual, I just think I don't think you can shout
Yeah.
in a bluegrass song.
Yeah. Well, all right. So the reason
Although I would love to have
I mean,
heard
Show
that.
Me the Body does, I guess.
But they don't really do the James Hetfield.
yeah.
Do the
So
who does
it's
Enter the
not-
Sandman? Pull that one up. Let's see how they do that.
Yeah, who does
Oh, it's the
Enter
same band actually.
Say your prayers, little one. Don't forget my son to include everyone. Tuck you in.
Oh no, I love the chorus on here.
Free from sin till the Sandman he comes.
The chorus on here is pretty great
Sleep with one eye open.
because they do what you're talking about.
Gripping your pillow
Yeah.
tight. Exit.
I want to buy this for my mom, so next time I come home for Christmas, she's just baking, listening to this.
But yeah, that's Iron Horse is the name of that band, and they're featured pretty prominently in the Pickin' On series. And the reason I bring all this up is I wanted to build to a crescendo with the bluegrass and finish off the bluegrass column in the biggest way possible, which is with a little record that came out in 2006 called Strummin' with the Devil, the southern side of Van Halen, which I know we've touched on briefly on the show before, but I really wanted to just go in depth with this and just really hear it out, because the thing with this album was they've been doing, obviously I read you the giant list, they've been doing this Pickin' On series for fucking ever, and so then it just comes around, as you might imagine, naturally in the course of time, they're like, hey, Van Halen, they had a lot of big hits, why don't we do a Pickin' On series on Van Halen? So they call Van Halen to be like, hey, can we do a covers record? And David Lee Roth says, only if I get to sing on it. And this was
He's like an EMT during this.
What?
Yeah, he was.
Is David Lee Roth not doing well?
Well, when this
Or
was
is he
happening,
in-
no, he
is
became
he in-
he like quit music and became an EMT when this happened. I remember
Well, no,
watching like
is-
late night TV when this came on, and it was the most insane batshit video I'd ever seen because he doesn't stop smiling the entire
thing about
time.
David Lee Roth is that David Lee Roth at a certain point after he had his solo albums.
Yeah.
He was just like, I have all this money. I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. So basically,
he's
he was
fun broke.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah.
so he has like all of his money and all of his royalties from Van Halen. He's like, I don't have to do a damn thing anymore.
I think that's when he like learned Japanese. And
he learned
stuff.
Japanese. He started he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
he did all this sort of stuff where he was just like he almost like replaced Howard Stern on.
That's right. Yeah,
he
yeah.
thought about doing drive time rate. Like he just became a Renaissance man. He became America's preeminent man of leisure. Yeah. And TLR decided to, he's just like, I'm gonna do whatever I want. You know?
I didn't know I could respect David Lee Roth more.
Oh yeah, no, I love David Lee Roth. No shame at all there. And it's funny because you look at the couch on this
color,
clip.
guys.
So I've pulled up this clip and we'll put it on our Twitter. You can find us at The Goods Pod. This is from The Tonight Show with Jay Leno from 2006. And on the
It's
couch
tremendous.
is Larry the Cable Guy, Bill Engvall, Jeff
Foxworthy.
Foxworthy, and the late Tim Russert.
Yeah.
Are all chilling on the couch. I assume 2006, probably talking about the Dubai Ports deal.
Yeah. All symbols of a simpler time.
It really was a much simpler time.
It really is just like fascinating to like look at the Tonight Show, and it's just 5 conservative white men.
Right. Yep. Just talking about stuff. Well, and then you
aren't wives bad?
But then you add this guy to the mix, and so we'll take a listen because this is fucking insane.
This was on rotation in my iPod for like a year after this because it was so crazy to me.
606, appropriately titled, Strumming with the Devil, the Southern Side of Van Halen. Please welcome David Lee Roth.
Jay Leno has got like laughing at
the
him.
band didn't get credited?
Yeah, that's the best part of this. He won't stop smiling. It's really weird.
Is that what you call a smile? He looks like a dog.
He's auditioning for the Joker. This is how he wants to get the role of the Joker in the Batman movie.
Well, the man never frowns. He always smiles.
This sounds great. Sounds like Simon and Garfunkel.
Listen, he just sings it the way he normally sings.
I mean, it's a fun jam. I'm
This
not gonna
sounds
lie.
like Simon and Garfunkel.
It's weird because
he's having the.
He looks like Bloom Boy's dad.
You guys, if you have access to a screen and eyes, go and watch this. Is
it's bizarre.
If you're ever like, oh no, what's life gonna be like when I'm 55? If you bust your ass, you one day could be as happy as David Lee fucking Roth.
Singing in a band that he's taken credit for.
So is this the Pickin' On crew?
It's the Pickin' On crew, but like I said, David Lee Roth was like, you can make the record, but I have to sing on all the songs. So they don't do any like.
I don't think he sings on all the songs.
No, he
I think it's
doesn't.
just this one.
No,
Specifically,
it's this
I think.
one, and I think he does Janie's Crying and like one other one. I looked it up on the thing today. He does this, Janie's Crying, and maybe one other one.
I mean, he looks.
That'd be awesome if he was like, I want to do all the Hagar songs I'm singing.
And I want the Gary Sharon ones too. I mean, he looks great. He has his plastic surgery is the opposite of Axl Rose's plastic surgery. 'Cause
Yeah.
indeed, he looks like some sort of Pomeranian, and Axl Rose looks like a catfish.
He's got.
Oh man, how fucking crazy would that be if you're noodling, you have your hand in the bank and you feel the catfish, you pull it out and it's just Axl.
Is there a Guns N' Roses Pickin' On?
Oh, I'm sure there is. But yeah, so
I'm sure there's a Slash's Snake Pit picking on at this point.
Except for
I like this song.
Except
I'm
in
not
their
gonna
case,
lie,
they
I
can
like
only
it.
get Bumblefoot and Buckethead. To,
I like it, but it's just bizarre because as we heard with the other Pickin' On series, like they rearrange the songs, they kind of like do something different. This was literally like, just play the song and I'll just scream over it like I always do. Ow! But
it's like a happier, more subdued DLR.
Yeah, for sure.
My favorite David Lee Roth thing ever is the the version of Eat 'Em and Smile that's all in Spanish that he did. It's Crazy from
never
the
heard
Heat.
that.
That's what it was. Crazy from the Heat, all in Spanish. So it's like he does a version of Yankee Rose that's all in Spanish.
What?
That's amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, because he's fluent in Spanish too.
Oh my god.
Because he's a Renaissance.
I was gonna
man.
say, dude, yeah, if you just have enough money to where you don't have to do anything.
Why isn't he the Dos Equis man?
That's a fair point. He should.
I mean, he had all of his money, and he was just like, "What am I into today?" And then he just like finds something, and he'll do it because he has all that royalty check coming in.
Well, because a lot of times when someone has too much money, you get the Howard Hughes syndrome where they find their thing that's weird and then they just double down on it. This guy, instead of turning inward, turned outward and pursued his interest all the way until he's nearly a perfect being.
Exactly. I mean, David Lee Roth is aspiring
He's
to
gonna
be
reach full enlightenment.
He's aspring to be the Nishian Ubermensch. Like he is trying to be.
Oh yeah,
the man.
Next up, Fortnite tournaments.
Yeah. Oh God. No. Well, his episode of the Stone Cold podcast is amazing because that's Stone Cold's another guy guy. Where
Are they just screaming at each other for an hour?
Kind of.
David, what do you ever slow down?
David, why can't you stop smiling? It's weird.
You're freaking me out, kid.
I was always more of a Hagar man, and I don't like birds.
What are your feelings about Montrose? Because I always preferred Montrose to Van Halen. I'm a straight shooter guy, but you still kick ass in my book, in Stone Cold's book. You still rock.
I've often found myself trying to do the midair splits. I can't do it. Can't do the toe touches.
I would get Rob Van Dam in the locker room and I would say, Rob, let me ask you something, kid. If I played the song Jump, can you do all the high kicks and splits that David Lee Roth does in the video to the right points in the song?
Rob Van Dam put his head accidentally through the ceiling tiles of the Rosemont Horizon.
I want a podcast that's just Stone Cold Steve Austin redubbing all of the things Mark Maron said on WTF and then just inserting the interview back into it.
Right. The Stone Cold show's kind of turned into that a little bit.
It's gotten very personal. He's a great interviewer.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's my favorite. His style of interviewing is my favorite. As I've said, it's just like, so John Michael, son of a preacher man, come to Los Angeles, start a few comedy shows.
Come to Los Angeles,
killing it on the circuit. What's that like? That's one Stone Cold question.
But yeah, the WTF, because we were doing that. We were riffing on that at the beginning of the wrestling show, where it was like,
oh God, that's right.
Yeah, we were riffing on Stone Cold doing WTF.
Oh, yeah.
I live in a dungeon of cats.
Yeah, I know.
Are we cool? If not, here's a chair.
What pisses Stone Cold off? Stone Cold hates going to the fucking post office. It pisses me off. I can't drink enough Steve Weisers to go to the post office and be happy. But I don't drink Steve Weisers anymore because I'm sober, been sober for 11 years. That's why I want to plug stamps.com.
And Alpha Brain.
Does he call them Steve Weisers?
Oh yeah, that was an old.
I need to listen to this podcast.
Oh, it's
again.
tremendous.
I listened to like a couple when it first came out. I was like, this is great. I'll catch up.
It's tremendous.
And then like every podcast other than this one, I have not caught up with every episode.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, need to have you slow down here because I need to plug my friends here at AdamandEve.com. Put that in your ass. I ate a pint of ice cream yesterday. I have body problems. I can't handle myself. I don't have impulse control. I've been doing the snooze, but it's tough for me not to smoke cigarettes when I'm at the damn Comedy Store.
This isn't something you do on stage. Please do your one-man show.
Stone Cold Mark Maron.
No, it's Stone Cold Brody Steve Austin is the one that I'm angling for, and you might hear it soon here on the Goods from the Woods podcast.
Yeah, that's right. So from the bluegrass genre, we now move south from the hills of Kentucky to the island of Jamaica. This is
it Rolling Bob?
Is It Rolling Bob? A reggae tribute to Bob Dylan. And the sequel, by the way, is of course called Blowin' in the Wind, because you exhale weed smoke.
I'd be puffing in the wind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is the times they are
Drinking
changing.
drugs in the wind.
By Apple Gabriel.
Sex goes electric.
The Rolling Bob
in the wind.
Oh, this is Rocksteady.
Is it?
Yeah, this is the subgenre that this is.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Gather round, people.
No.
Wherever you
Who is he? Did he just eat a helium balloon?
waters around you have grown. Accept it that soon you
It's it's whatever.
This is what I like to think of as a restaurant album.
Okay.
That would be like
Applebee's Hot Tracks.
Yeah, they'd be playing at a restaurant.
I mean, not unlike the Careless Whisper we discussed in the the Butt Rock
that's
episode.
a shit bar song.
well,
But this is restaurant music where it's like, all right, we need to play something at the restaurant.
Well, you mentioned that you heard that at a restaurant, and this is one of those songs where you're sitting at a restaurant just trying to eat mozzarella sticks, and then you kind of catch something funny in your ear, and you're like, wait a minute, is this Bob Dylan but reggae?
This is what they play at the off-brand Margaritaville.
Yeah.
Sex on the Beachville.
The problem with this is, like, I like almost all reggae if it sounds kind of bad.
Yeah.
This just sounds really clean and like it was all recorded using keyboards.
Right.
And I'm just like,
they did this in 2 seconds.
Yeah, just get a 4-track and some little kid's guitar, and that's how every reggae song should sound. There's nothing worse than highly produced conflict music. Like if you like when someone's just like, here's a Woody Guthrie album I recorded in a $3 million studio. It's like, no, you should die. Get out of here.
Right. So there's this. So that's the Dylan version, the reggae version of Dylan. There's this band, Easy Star All Stars, and they have kind of become. They have a small cottage industry of reggae covers, including this one, which is Dub Side of the Moon. Which is a reggae tribute to Pink Floyd, and this is the song "Money," and of course, the song "Money."
I respect this if Dub Side of the Moon syncs up to Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
if they went that extra stout, I would be like,
or it syncs up to "The Harder They Come" or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is "Money," and of course, the song "Money" by Pink Floyd starts out with a bunch of sounds of money, cash registers and coins dropping, things like that. This is the Dub Side of the Moon version of "Money," which starts off like this.
Oh, there we go. Oh, God.
I kind of love this, actually. Not gonna lie. The first time I heard this, I was at Bonnaroo. The year this
We're going to have to keep hearing the same bubbling sound the whole time.
Yeah. You hear the coughing.
I hate this.
But yeah, I heard this coming from another, like an adjacent campsite at Bonnaroo when I was there in like 2004. And I remember walking over there and being like, what is this, man? This is cool. And they told me Easy Star All Stars. So this is their version of Money.
this isn't bad.
No, I
like this better than any Pink Floyd song I've ever heard.
Boo on that.
It's all right. They're great album to clean your house to.
But yeah, so that's their version of Pink Floyd. This is the same band. So this came out in 2003.
This is covers. This isn't tribute.
It's a tribute to Pink Floyd, I suppose. It's one band, but
but that doesn't fit within the kind of thing of a tribute album, because a tribute album has that combustible element that is the one or two bands that just go in a completely weird direction with it.
Oh boy.
Or just weird like Billy Bob Thornton.
I did just want to,
even though he was good friends with Warren Zevon. It's like
yeah.
Not Radio Dread.
This is the this is the same band. This is their album from 2006, Radio Dread. And Karma Police.
Featuring Citizen Cope, everybody. If you're keeping score.
Does it really feature Citizen God? Sometimes music has a flavor.
That flavor is poop.
Yeah. It sounds like Poppy's song Low Life. It's fine. It's still a good song.
See, I hate Radiohead, so this is an improvement for me. That's my hot take of the day.
I still think it's interesting because like there's always these tribute albums. There aren't like any big tribute bands necessarily.
Right.
But the biggest one is in the ska and reggae world, and that's Badfish. Do you know about Badfish?
Is that the Sublime tribute? Yeah.
Bradley died, and then this band was like, well, no one else is playing these songs. And then like they picked them up and they tour everywhere and they sell out huge venues.
Oh yeah.
Just being a Sublime cover band.
Yeah.
And Sublime was like, I could do that. And now we have Sublime with Rome.
Yeah. Well, they came to I remember they came to Auburn one time actually.
Badfish? I've seen them. They're great. They're a fantastic live band.
So you were mentioning the combustible element of having different bands in a tribute album. This is one I wanted to talk about. I think this is from 2004.
Oh God!
And it is the jam band tribute to Lynyrd Skynyrd.
How many discs was that? Was that like
just the one?
18 discs?
It was like they mail you a new disc every month for like 3 years.
It's called Under the Influence.
I finally got disc 3 of the Widespread Panic set.
Under the Influence, a jam band tribute to Leonard Skinner, and it's got Les Claypool from Primus doing "Call Me the Breeze," which I can put on.
Hit it.
That's okay.
We'll go through the list and let's
No,
pick
yeah,
one.
yeah.
cut us with these blades.
Well, I've got one specifically that I have to play, but I'll just go through the
Play
list
that
real
one
quick.
and let's not belabor the point.
"Call Me the Breeze" by Les Claypool, Saturday Night Special by Galactic. Galactic's a fun band. Simple Man by Government Mule, Whiskey Rocker Roller by North Mississippi All Stars. I kind of like that one. Freebird by Blues Traveler.
What? Absolutely fucking not am I listening to that. I hate
I'm okay
that
with that.
song and that band.
I'm okay with it if all the guitar solos are harmonica solos.
Oh, I bet they are.
Yeah, like John Popper's playing three harmonicas at one time, like Roland Rashawn Kirk or something.
He's got, have you ever seen Blues Travel? He has like a
bandolier. Yeah, of the harmonica.
In case one breaks down, he's got his extras.
Well, they're
you
all
know?
tuned differently.
In case
and
he accidentally eats one.
One of them has cocaine in it, I think. So you're just, all right, ready to harmonica again.
For some reason, Drive By Truckers is on here with Every Mother's Son, and I love that cover, but
That'd be great.
That's great, but they're not a fucking jam
No,
band.
they're the tightest motherfucking band on earth.
Big Head Todd and the Monsters doing Sweet Home Alabama. The Yonder Mountain String Band doing Four Walls of Rayford, and then the one that I wanted to play, Particle doing Working for MCA.
Phaser.
If you put a phaser on a song, I'm on board.
It's all Phaser. Pat's so mad.
Only way that this could be better is if they put this phaser in like a Ramones tribute album.
It's instrumental. It's just Phaser.
Why? Like, why, though? Why?
Fucking no.
Because the phaser is the computer singing, all right? Okay, you can turn off the Butt Rock Mannheim Steamroller now.
It does sound like Mannheim Steamroller, Jesus. But
Wow,
yeah,
that sure was terrible.
just in case you were curious, this is Les Claypool doing "Call Me the Breeze."
Yeah, it sounds like a bass being dropped downstairs. I believe it's Les Claypool.
Oh, just wait to hear the amazing vocals.
Les Claypool sounds like someone making fun of jam music.
Stop it now, please.
That's awful. That's so bad.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, stop it.
I listen to grindcore and I'm upset about it.
I have no qualms about saying I love this. I love Les Claypool. Anything he does.
God, this is the worst. The worst.
I don't mean no.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Couldn't he
that's,
have just gotten the job replacing Cliff Burton so he wouldn't be subjected to this garbage?
So that is.
Was he up for Cliff's job?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how bad Metallica would be right now if Les Claypool was their bass player? Actually, Saint Anger would have been accidentally the greatest album of all time.
So 1994, a Van Morrison tribute album comes out called No Prima Donna, the songs of Van Morrison, and it's got a lot of like 10,000 Maniacs and like just shit you would expect from 1994. But then weirdly in the middle of all of that is Liam Neeson, who at this point is the star of Schindler's List and like what else?
The Schindler's List was like 96, wasn't it?
Schindler's List was
Schindler's
not,
List?
Schindler's List is not what?
Liam Neeson's in Schindler's
He
List?
is Schindler.
He's like
I've never
the head
seen
dude.
Schindler's
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's Oscar
Really?
Schindler.
I know what happened.
point.
I intentionally try not to watch movies that make me sad.
Yeah.
And I remember the Holocaust and
That's
9/11, and I don't need to see Schindler's List or United 93.
Yeah. World Trade Center, though, unmissable with Nick Cage.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's just because I enjoy Nick Cage and any comedy.
For sure.
Everybody needs mustaches in this movie.
But no, he plays Oscar Schindler in the film. Yeah, so this would have been 94. So the year after, I mean, his, probably breakthrough success, he does a cover of the song Coney Island by Van Morrison, which I'm not even familiar with this song, but let's give a listen to what
I love Coney Island.
Liam Neeson does with the song Coney Island. I'm just imagining him in the studio, like, I want it to sound like the mists of Ireland in the morning.
I brought my own bagpipe and fife player. This is Johnny. He lost his mom in a bombing. He really means his penny whistle.
Play those fucking chimes.
Sorry to any Goods in the Woods fans who lost family members in an IRA bombing.
A bowl of Lucky Charms right there. Just
Don't touch it. I'm fucking watching you. I'll fucking shoot you in the head with a gun.
Lucky Charms haven't been sorted by Marshmallow. I got friends who deal with these sorts of events.
Coming back
he's got a shillelagh in his hand.
Stopping off at St. John's Point. Out all day bird watching. And the crowd.
God damn, I hate this. All right.
Stopped off at Strangford Lough early in the morning.
I think he just said I spent all day bird watching. I was looking at a fucking bird. He kept cawing and kept making noise, so I shot him. Shot him in his fucking head.
I got this background music from the...
From the relaxation where they sell the candles at Walmart, where you press the button.
It's a song.
I went to
and
Nature
also
Company and I got this.
It keeps
it's called
you
Sounds of Peace and Serenity.
It helps you to stop
So play it
smoking.
for this fucking Van Morrison cover album. And let me do a recitation.
I bought this. It was next to the whale songs and the running string.
This is dedicated to everybody that fell in the struggles. This is for you, Bobby Sands. They couldn't break in the edge blocks.
Oh, Christ.
The sight of your face. As the sunlight comes streaming through the window in the autumn sunshine. And all in all, the time walked going to Coney Island. I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great if it was like this all the time?
We briefly mentioned this one downstairs before we started rolling, and that is this relatively new one from 2014, Nashville Outlaws.
Oh, yeah.
A tribute to Motley Crue, which features If I Die Tomorrow, which is a very late era Motley Crue song.
It's like their comeback single.
Yeah, it's like what year was that from?
2006-ish.
And so pretty much the biggest band on the tribute album is Florida Georgia Line, and that's how they got to do this.
And this is a band I unironically enjoy, and I'm still furious at this cover. Like, I unironically enjoy Florida Georgia Line and Motley Crue. This is garbage.
It's when I was listening to this.
Jeff Hardy from the top.
It's when I was listening to this morning that it occurred to me that like that era of hair metal is not that much different than modern country. This doesn't seem out of ordinary.
There's a reason Bret Michaels can play country shows.
Right.
You know? And it's why, Darius Rucker is doing traditional country music.
Yeah.
If you listen carefully, you can hear his rings clinking together when he grabs the mic.
I mean, it just sounds. Oh man, yeah.
It lacks the things that, God, you're going to hate what I'm about to say, Joe. This cover lacks the thing that gives Florida Georgia Line charm, which is that they're fun. Like, I love, Jason Isbell and shit, but I also like listening to music that doesn't remind me of my wife dying of cancer. So,
just songs that are lists of things.
Yeah, I just want to hear a bunch of guy be like, I like short skirts and tequila, and I'm like, yeah, I can listen to this without existential dread. I already spent enough time worrying about
Fireball whiskey and this TGI Fridays.
Exactly. Dude, if there was a fucking pop country song called Fireball Whiskey at a TGI Fridays, I would tattoo the lyrics on my chest.
Well, this is pretty damn close. There's a band called Beatallica, and they have a song called Sergeant Hetfield's Motor Breath Pub Band.
What the fuck is this band?
It is fucking madness is what it is.
Metallica's style covers of the Beatles.
But the guy is doing a caricature of James Hetfield, and it's very funny.
To be fair, James Hetfield is also currently doing a caricature of James Hetfield. Do they do Hey Jude? Because I would love to hear Hey Jude.
Oh, wow.
Actually, James Hetfield died at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. He didn't survive the burns, and he was actually recast by Mark McGuire, baseball slugger, and that's why they are what they are.
I got two more. One of them, I'm going to just basically read the track list, and this is just going to be dealer's choice here because there is so much good shit, and that is the Ramones tribute album from, I believe it's 2003. So it's called We're a Happy Family, a tribute to the Ramones.
Great album cover.
Came out in 2003. Awesome album cover. So I'll just read some of the bands. And just,
Liam Neeson.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
U2.
Rob Zombie.
Doing
U2.
Havana Fair? Oh,
Metallica.
on the way to Havana.
Kiss, Marilyn Manson, Garbage, Green Day, The Pretenders, Rancid, Offspring, Tom Waits,
Pete Yorn.
Pete
Yorn's here.
And John Frusciante.
I love the idea of Pete Yorn
John Frusciante
pretending to like everything so he could be on every tribute album. He's like, I was a big Hillary Duff fan. Can I please have...
I'll take
So
Let me
yesterday.
tell you why Hannah Montana is the best thing of 2003.
I'm kind of leaning towards Beat on the Brat by U2 because that just sounds odious.
Okay.
So just every U2 song is so bad. So many good people died in that conflict. None of the right ones. I fucking hate U2.
Beat on the brat with a baseball bat.
Sounds like a dad singing along to the Ramones in the car under his breath.
Under his breath.
Because his kids don't want to hear it. Like, Dad, turn off your classic rock. Beat on the breath.
That's bad.
I'll pull this fucking car over.
What's another choice? Do another one. This is bad.
So yeah, Havana Affair.
My least favorite figure in music is the person that told U2 that they knew how to play their instruments because they were so much better when they knew that they couldn't play their instruments.
Yeah, when they're fun and rocky.
Yeah,
and then...
when they were all in that like Catholic mystical cult.
I'm just one poorly wired mic during the zoo tour, and we don't have bad U2. No.
For the CIA, for the USA. Baby, make me loco.
Hey guys, you know what would make the Ramones better? What if we played them slow?
Slow and steady wins the Ramones. That's what they always say.
On a Cuban talent show.
Oh God.
Have you ever played Red Hot Chili Peppers for anyone young now? No. Like who hasn't been exposed to them? Oh, it's because they're just like, what is this shit? Like they can't. It doesn't sound like music.
It just sounds like regular Chili Peppers, to be honest. It sounds like it could be any.
Well, that's why it's
any
funny
meandering
because
song.
it's like
They've turned the Ramones into the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah,
which is great.
All right, so the last one here,
Immaculate.
2000 gives us Stoned Immaculate.
It's the first song by Weird Al Yankovic.
The music of the Doors. Big colon.
Big colon.
Much
like every fan of the Doors.
Much like
big
Jim
colon.
Morrison's colon.
The doctor
at the end
said
of
I
his
have
life.
a big colon.
So
27 years old and 350 pounds.
Is Lifehouse on this?
It says, unusually, the surviving members of the Doors played on their own tribute record.
That tells you a lot about how the Doors records were selling when this came out.
In 2000, this lineup here is unfuckwithable.
All right, let's get it top to bottom.
We got Break On Through by the Stone Temple Pilots. We've got Riders on the Storm by Creed. Light My Fire by Train.
Oh, that's odious.
And-
that's on the list.
And Peace Frog by Smash Mouth.
You know what?
That's
I
the
imagine that they probably kill
Look,
it.
this is peak Smash Mouth, all right? They're crushing
Yeah.
it. They just got off their first Ska album.
Play the Smash Mouth one so I can just shove a stick in my ear. This is gonna make me.
Oh, yeah. So, this is Smash Mouth's version of...
Are you not a believer?
I think that this is going to rule.
Yeah, the Doors already sound like Smash Mouth.
Everybody in the street is up to Michael.
Tell me the Doors don't sound like I've never thought about it until they were played back to back. But Light My Fire with just like an overly happy keyboard player is Smash Mouth. Baby, you could light my fire. Like it is Smash Mouth,
dude. Oh man. This is always like the song that they play in like the movie set in the 1960s when there's like, what the fuck was that? Hold on, did I just hear a turntable? Hold on, I gotta.
No, it was one of those like electric drums. Wait, what?
Yeah, that was a fucking turntable.
Who else is on this? Oh, could you do that train?
Oh yeah. No, I'll get to that. I just wanted to say.
That's the worst.
This
is awful, and it makes me sad.
So every one of those like
glorious.
Every one of these 60s movies has the scene of like a protest, and this is often a song they play because it says "Blood in the Streets" in Chicago, and it invokes that. I desperately now want to make like a Forrest Gump style, period piece, and just throw this in there and see if anyone notices.
Smash Mouth cover.
Yeah. That's the damn turntable. Wop, 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 wop.
I wonder who did the turntable on that.
DJ Lethal.
DJ Lethal was my
It was
guess.
Ray
The only
Manzarek.
DJ anyone knew at that time.
It was Liam Neeson.
It was
Ray Manzarek in a backwards red New York Yankees.
DJ Ray.
He's got record needles taped to his fingers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready to do these beats.
A very particular set of skills.
Wiki.
Days of the New is on here. All
right, that makes sense.
Aerosmith.
That makes sense.
The Cult.
Makes sense.
William S. Burroughs, which just
What?
seems bizarre.
Who's in his band though? Is it Body Count? Willem S. Burroughs and Ice-T's metal band?
No, because he was hanging out with Grant Hart from Husker Du.
Oh no,
That would
Quite
be
a lot. Yeah. So it might be.
this is the William S.
street, light of the street, and roaming dogs in heat. Rabid foaming, a beast cage in the heart of the city.
This might be the most tremendously awful.
I kind of like this.
Everybody in,
This is the only thing associated with the Doors I've ever vaguely enjoyed.
everybody in.
The movie, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, that's.
I mean, they're gonna have a Doors cover album. Is Billy Idol on it? Because if he isn't,
no,
that's-
Billy Idol's not. Ian Astbury, Bo,
that makes sense.
Bo Diddley. I wanted to play Train, Light My Fire, and then we're gonna ride off into the sunset with Creed in a second. But
It's the worst sentence I've ever heard.
Who did this?
this is Train.
Oh, man.
Train and then Creed. That's a really awful way to end anything. What?
The fuck is this?
that it would be untrue. You know that I feel
This is awesome. I've always wanted to hear the Doors covered by a guy who's never eaten pussy or smoked weed.
couldn't get much high. Come on, baby, light my fire.
Oh my god, this is incredible.
This sounds like a Gap commercial.
I know. This sounds like if Ted, it sounds like if Ted Cruz was leading a Doors cover band.
I don't care for this. I don't like it. It's disorienting.
All I see is like people in jeans on a trampoline in front of a white background, and then it just says "Fall into the Gap."
This is the. Oh man, this is so bad. I broke the fourth wall of podcasting.
So yeah,
All right, let's just get to Creed and get this over
That
with.
is-
because, you have to end any.
No, that was Train. That was Train.
I am amazed when I hear like a sexless cover of the Doors. Like the Doors sound like bad sex, but they at least sound like sex.
Last but not least, we're going to cap off this. This has been such a fun episode. We're going to cap.
An upsetting hour.
We're going to cap this off with Creed's version of "Riders on the Storm." Oh, and they even put the rain in there. It's not necessary. We know the song.
Can it really be with Creed if the Doors are playing their own music? Shouldn't it just be with the guy, Mr. Creed?
Mr. Creed.
Oh, that actually makes a lot.
This is Robbie Krieger
The band is
from the Doors.
Yeah. Here we go.
Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown.
I want this to turn into a cover of Superstar unexpectedly. So sad.
He's doing an impression of.
See, that's what I was gonna say
This is
about
the least
this.
offensive. This is at least respectful and like trying to be a tribute to the Doors.
It's what I was going to say about this, and I think we touched on this a little bit in our episode we did about Woodstock '99, where we listened to him do Roadhouse Blues.
Yeah,
he ain't a bad Jim Morrison impression.
He's a good singer. I mean, like that. The problem is there's never a moment of subtlety in Creed.
Right. Yeah.
Like Creed is just full on. I got to get this turd out in the next minute. And a half.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no love to it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
Stone Immaculate
it
is the
Stone
worst
Immaculate, the worst tribute
band
album
of all time. But it's fitting.
We didn't get to one single good tribute album.
Well, that's not the point.
Yeah.
We could have talked about the Schoolhouse Rocks one,
Name
and that
a
would have been
single
awesome. but-
good tribute album. The Schoolhouse Rocks one is great, but that's not a band. That's a lifestyle.
There was a decent Fats Domino one that had Tom Petty and Neil Young and
if
stuff
you have
on there.
to be like, there's a decent Fats Domino one.
think
You're
there's
explaining why tribute
I
albums
think
are.
there's a Wesley Willis one that's pretty good.
Oh
too.
fuck me, that one is awesome.
Yeah,
It has the country band doing Rock and Roll McDonald's.
Yeah.
I like Barbara Streisand does Broadway.
Yeah.
Very, very strong.
Well, that's our tribute albums episode. At least part 1. We might have to have you back for part 2 because there's clearly more
Christ.
to do. We have more work to do here.
Have me on for like new metal or something.
Okay.
Like something equally
well,
painful.
Don't worry, there'll be another butt rock gauntlet.
John Michael, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at John Bond, because some guy is squatting on every other configuration of my name. And you can find me on Instagram at John Michael's Mistakes.
And check out your show at Proof Rocks Pizza.
Yeah, October
Thrash.
8th. October 8th and October 28th.
Be sure to check out all of John Michael's goings on. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/TheGoodsPod. We're on Twitter at TheGoodsPod. Every episode ever, youtube.com/TheGoodsPod. Big shout out to our friend Richard Eden up there in the North Pole doing the hard work at TheGoodspod.com. Pat, what should the folks do when they get to iTunes or Google
Well, I'm going
Play?
to tell you this coming straight from the Broken Skull Cat Ranch. Let me get a sip of this. I got to start out. Pow! That's right. You got to rate.
I shit my pants when Yokozuna jumped on me.
You got to rate. You got to review, and you got to subscribe because it's WTF or what the fuck.
Please, for the love of Christ, do this podcast.
Just to a one-man show. And if
It shows the attitude of gratitude. Watch Glow on Netflix.
Stone Cold Mark Maron is the most infuriatingly wonderful character.
And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, Daddy, fuck you. See you next week.
Lock the gate!
Are we doing this? Really? Wait for it. Are we doing this? Wait for it.
I live in a dungeon of cats.
Are we cool? If not, here's a chair.
What pisses Stone Cold off? Stone Cold hates going to the fucking post office.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.